Hey everybody, it's me, Jason Torchinsky again, here to tell you more about the 200-year life of electric cars. And, as I mentioned in the previous two episodes, I've taken this nearly 2-century-long timeline, and I've divided it up into 3 eras. I've divided it up into the contender era, for the earliest period of electric cars, the crap era, for that whole middle, most of the 20th century part, and the era that we're in now, the Tesla era. So, let's go ahead and talk about the Tesla era now. So even though I'm calling this current era the Tesla era, because let's just be honest, Tesla is the defining car maker of the electric car era, this era actually starts and pretty much owes its whole existence not to Tesla at all, but to General Motors. Yes, the General, old stodgy General. And let me explain why that is. It's got almost everything to do with one car, the GM EV1. This was a car from 1996, and it represented in a lot of ways the first real serious attempt by a major automaker to actually try to make an electric vehicle and make it up to modern or even beyond what most people expected as modern standards. The EV1 was completely different from what everybody understood about electric cars up to this point. Most people thought of electric cars as glorified golf carts. They were thinking of the crap era electric cars of the 70s that were slow, miserable, flimsy little plastic things. And then comes in the EV1 that was sleek and streamlined and modern and fast and comfortable. It was all the things that the old crap era electric cars were not. The EV1 was very technically advanced and introduced a lot of things that we take for granted with EVs today. Things like regenerative braking, thermal management for the batteries, a very, very impressive coefficient of drag. All of these things that we now expect out of our electric cars. The original range of the EV1 on lead-acid batteries was only about 50 miles, but they later upgraded these to nickel-metal hydride batteries that gave it a potential range of about 140 miles. Realistically, probably closer to 100, but still, this was a colossal jump from anything that Americans had seen before in an electric car. GM also had a huge role in defining the actual technical design of modern electric cars without even really realizing what they were doing. A separate GM project called Highwire, which was designing basically a hydrogen fuel cell car, came up with the fundamental platform and template that pretty much everybody's electric car uses today. And by everybody, I mean Tesla, Volkswagen, Ford. Everybody uses a skateboard-style design, where they have the batteries low and flat in the main part of the skateboard, a motor usually mounted at the rear, although you could really mount it anywhere, but the end result is something that's like a flat skateboard with everything in it. They were the first to come up with this idea, and they designed cars that use this that were extremely advanced, and were very similar to how electric cars are packaged today, where the entire length of the car, the entire wheelbase, is available for either people or cargo. This was incredibly forward-thinking, and pretty much every electric car maker today owes a real debt of gratitude towards the Highwire project. Of course, GM being GM, they developed all this stuff and never did anything with it. If we go to Tesla, in 2008, when the first Tesla Roadster came out, it was pretty much a modified Lotus Elise. Although they did very extensive work on developing it, and it was heavily modified. But it didn't yet have the skateboard platform that modern Teslas do. The biggest innovation of this very first Tesla Roadster was that they came up with the idea to use laptop-style lithium-ion batteries, which had much higher energy density and gave the car actually a really impressive range of close to 250 miles. It was pretty remarkable for its time, and a lot of his development happened even before Elon was involved, but he, of course, was pretty crucial into it. Now, the modern Tesla era starts with the Model S from 2012, and this has the things I was talking about before. The skateboard-type chassis, batteries, laptop-style lithium-ion batteries in the platform here, all of the things that we normally think of for modern electric cars. And of course, what Tesla really did was they made electric cars desirable and fast and fun and objects that you actually wanted to have, not weird little penalty boxes just for freaks who really cared about the environment, like, Ed Begley Jr. or someone. This was something that almost everybody could desire and want. And this is the era we're in now. We are currently in the Tesla era of electric cars, and what I'm curious to see is how long this era will still be defined by this one company. There's so many interesting innovations coming out from so many different companies. We may have to move to something else differently, but for right now, I'm going to give credit where credit's due. All right, everybody, thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you soon.